I'm here today to talk about the Boogidi Game. So we have a series at the center, a book and a game for learning Ojibwe that also is being released in Anishinaabekwe, so in Cree as well. So I want to do a little bit of an introduction to the Boogidi book and the Boogidi game. We're going to be doing a bit of a reading and playing some games, not only online, but also we'll show videos of playing games face to face. Since right now we're not able to do that at the center, we want to bring that to you online. So first off, I guess I'll show you the book. So we have this book available in Ojibwe. It's the Boogidi book. And it was written by myself and Anna Pronto. It was translated, our Ojibwe was translated into Ojibwe that sounds like a fluent speaker, because both Anna and I are learners. So it's translated by Roger Roulette and illustrated and designed by Sarah Brazauskas, and the audio is voiced by Virginia Pateman. So this is the Boogidi book. It actually, the reason we have the Boogidi book and kind of the reason behind it is because of Gidinawewin. Gidinawewin is a workbook, an Anishinaabe resource workbook by Roger Roulette. And I was taking a class at the library with Roger, intermediate Ojibwe, and I was learning more about verb conjugation and how to make sentences in Ojibwe. So prior to that, I had taken a lot of Ojibwe classes, but I was kind of really good at counting. And I knew some colors and I knew a lot of animals, but I really struggled to be able to do anything with the knowledge and the words that I had. So in intermediate Ojibwe, that was the focus, was to create sentences and sentence patterns. And I wanted to take what I was learning and transfer that to my son, who is then 5 years old. But his interest level for the kind of drill that we had to do to learn conjugation and verb conjugation, he had a short attention span for that. And so what I wanted to do was I paid attention to his favorite things to do and his favorite things to read and his favorite games to play and his favorite conversations as a 5-year-old boy. And for me, that in my family, his favorite book was Everybody Poops. And we would read that again and again and again. It was like the one thing that he would request all the time is Everybody Poops. And so I could recite that. I know that there's a 1-hump camel with the 1-hump poop and a 2-hump camel with the 2-hump poop. Just kidding. Like I can read that page over and over again, that book, and he could read it probably forwards and backwards. And that's the kind of acquisition I wanted for his Ojibwe and his Ojibwe books. So what we did is we worked together after class to take what we were learning in our class with Roger and to conjugate the verbs. We picked one of the funniest verbs in Ojibwe is Boogidi, and one of the most used verbs in Ojibwe, kitow, so to speak. So I will, I guess, share my screen and take you on a bit of a tour of the Boogidi book. So let's see. And Trissa, you'll have to let me know that it's working. But here I'm at my desktop and I've got a collection of things. And one of them is the book. So all right. So for me, I would like to acknowledge right off the bat that I'm an Ojibwe learner, and that for me, this is not only what I wanted my son to learn, but it also helps me to learn as well. So if you want to hear a speaker speaking in a language, reading the book, we have that available with our books. There's a CD, both in Ojibwe and soon to be also in Ininimuin. So it's in Anishinaabe now and shall be in Ininimuin soon, and also Michif. Today, what we're going to ask is I'll read the Ojibwe, and we're going to invite Sharissa to translate into Ininimuin. And then we also have our new students, Danielle and Weston and Noah, who is not a new student, but we have all of them who we're going to ask to translate into English. So first off, it's Boogidi da kid. So sure is. And any of the students want to try to translate that into English? Noah?
Is there a fart? I say.
Yep, I say. Gin ena da kid.
Inana netetuan.
And Weston.
Is it you? I say.
Teka, gawin nin ikto shagag.
Nah, te matsni na iteo sila.
Noah?
Oh, please, not me, says the skunk.
Ginawa na ikto shagag.
Ginawa na iteo sila.
And ask Weston again.
Is it yous? Says the skunk.
Gawin. Taga, gawin ni nawin iktuwag wabuzuk.
Na mats, nah te mats ninanan itewak wabusak.
Noah?
That's like a no. Come on, not us, says the rabbits.
Gina nawe iktuwag wabuzuk.
Inana itewak wabusak.
And Weston?
Is it you? Says the rabbits.
Gawin ko danin iktu opachil.
Nah, mats nina iteo bibisjo.
And Noah?
So to me, that kind of looks like it's not me, but the Godot kind of adds like it's really not me.
An emphasis? Nope.
Says the robin.
Miigwech. Winko da Boogidi iktu opachil.
Wina wagitu iteo bibisjo.
And Weston?
It's that one. He's farting, says the raven. Raven or Robin?
Robin?
Robin.
And I haven't been calling on Danielle because I don't even know if we've read this book to her. But I'll give her a try this time, and you can always ask for help too if you need. So So ella ninawe nimbukit kitow jeans.
Ehe, Nina, nepwegetun iteucho.
And Danielle, do you want to give a guess?
So it's, yes, it's me, I farted, said the fly.
Yeah, I'm farting. He's farting right now. Or she, or they, singular they. Good job. Poo-fi, 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 poo-fi. Dikto menina went.
Yow, 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 yow. Nitituan, ninanan.
Mhm. Noah?
It's like, oh.
Yep.
We say, like, just us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Kito jeans.
Uh-oh, iteucho.
Weston?
Oh no, says the fly.
Yeah. Aw, poor fly. Oh, say. Ik doe wobbles.
Usay, yam, iteu wabususes.
Noah?
You know, I'm wondering if the sigh. I'm not 100% sure. But it looks like that little rabbit's being pretty like, aw.
Yeah. Oh, has sympathy for he's
Mhm.
feeling sympathy and empathy for the fly.
And then it says the little rabbit.
The littlest rabbit. Hey. Gibukutamin inkoting keket na iktugung jeans.
Ipwegetuna nawaskaw, tapuena, iteucho.
And Weston.
We fart sometimes. Isn't that true? Says the fly.
Yeah, all of us, we fart sometimes. I think that's true. Minage, gibukutamin inkoting iktu wobbles.
Chigema, kipwegetuna nawaskaw, iteu wabususes.
And Noah?
And it looks like this little rabbit saying, for sure, we all do fart sometimes, says the little rabbit.
Miigwech jeans, iktugung jeans.
Kinanaskomettinetuten iteucho.
And this is a little bit different between the Ojibwe and the Cree versions. So what I said was, thank you, my little friend, says the fly. And Trissa?
And I said, I'm grateful to you, my little friend, says the fly.
Eya, minange, eya, eya, minange, eya, minange. Dikto mininawin.
Ehe, chigema, chigema. Nitituna ninan.
Weston?
Yes, for sure. Yes, sure, for sure. We say us.
Miigwech nijiwaganak, iktugung jeans.
Kinanaskomittinawawnitutemak iteucho.
And Noah?
Oh, thanks a lot, my friends, says the fly.
Do you know what it would be in a name one? What Trissa said?
I'm grateful to use.
Yeah.
My friends.
Yep. Good job. Now this is Nimbukatamin Ninawin. Yekinanish Kibukit na.
Nipwegetuna ninan. Kistamaga. Kipwegetuna.
And Weston.
We fart us. You too. You fart as you 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 too fart is a no.
Yeah.
You because you fart too. Isn't that right? Or something like that.
Yeah, that's good. And you know what? That's how I feel too. Like when I'm learning Ojibwe and I feel like I'm making progress learning Ojibwe, all of a sudden my English gets twisted around. But I'm okay with that. I really like that. Um, and for those, this book was written specifically for parents who want to speak with and maybe read to their children. So we actually included a legend. So it's our interpretation. And like you can tell, some of them, it doesn't translate directly, but we tried to translate it and make a translation that kind of gave you most of the information and that you can tell which part of the words and which part of the sentences mean what. So we have a legend as well as a glossary in our text and some information about our other titles. So I'm going to stop the share, but not the live. And we're back. All right. So that question at the end, the book, it wasn't as detailed when we first started out. It was actually kids that we presented to who gave us a lot of the information. So they told us, they were the ones who told us, oh, you know, before we had only the littlest rabbit that was kind of trying to make the fly feel better. And they said, you know what, everybody should have a chance to be friends again. So that's why we said all of them, they all joined in and said, yeah, that's true, that's true. And they kind of reminded me of little kids, how they are like, once one has their hand up and they say one thing, then all of them are like, yes, that's it. I knew that. So they all got to be friends again. And the question at the end is, and we all fart sometimes, and you fart too, don't you? And that's kind of where the game picks up. So we have, when somebody orders Boogidi Game, I guess I'm unboxing my unboxed stuff, so I gotta box it back up. But I don't know how to do product stuff. But this is the Boogidi Game, and you'll get, everybody gets, mine's kind of like well used, but everybody will get a deck of cards, and we have both cards that have a fart and cards that don't have a fart in the deck. So through this, we're able to just play with our full deck of cards of farts and not farts. We're able to learn how to make sentences. And we also have some information about the card and how to get some of the materials that will help you to play with it. We also have place cards with words like neen, geen, and ween, and arrows. These are speech arrows. So it shows you who is talking to who. And we get a little turn card, Ninatam, to remind you whose turn it is. There's also a dice. This is a dice that we had custom made for tenses. So learning tenses. So for this one, we have a dark circle. That means that something has already happened. It's in the past. So gi. And if you're talking about farting, you don't always have to talk about farting, but if you are talking about farting, this would be ingi bogit. So I already farted. I farted already. Ningi bogit aja. Foof. This one is a dot at the center. So it's a dot that's at the center of the dice. And that represents that something is happening right now. Right now it's happening. So if I got this, it would be nimbugit. So I'm farting right now. Nimbugit. And the last one is an empty circle. So this shows that nothing's happening right now. There's no dot at the center, but that there is something that we intend to happen. So something that is going to happen. It could also be want to, but it's a little bit funny in this context. So going to. So niwi bogit. So I am going to fart. So I am going to fart. Watch out. Taka. I'm going to fart. So that's what you get in the case. I'll also share my screen again so I can show you and take you on a little tour of the digital parts of the game. And you let me know, we'll put away our book. Sure, so you let me know if you can see it. Can you see my desktop?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, so in here, my desktop doesn't usually look this way. I'll put all the stuff that was out all over it into a little folder and tucked it away. So when you get it, you will get, this is the Ojibwe part of the game. So you'll get an instruction guide. Let's see, this is the Ojibwe instruction guide, and it's quite lengthy. And so it tells you a little bit about the game and what you can expect to get in the game. So if you're missing any components, you can let us know. There's also a quick setup, so how we play. We actually designed the Boogidi game to learn 3 specific parts of the Ojibwe language. So our pronouns, nin, gin, and win. That's me, you, and it could be she, he, or singular they. So those are kind of like the 3 main pronouns in Anishinaabe. The person who's speaking is always nin, the person being spoken to is gin, and the person being spoken about is win. And if you learn nin, gin, and win, you can also learn the plurals. Ninawint, ginawint, ginawa. And with that basis, you can conjugate. That's what I found was the hardest thing to learn myself and to teach my son, is those plurals. How to say we, including me, and we, including you, and we, not including you. So inclusive and exclusive we. I had a hard time understanding that, never mind trying to tell my 5-year-old son. So this is kind of game is set up specifically to focus on telling the difference between inclusive and exclusive we and use, plural use. In English, you can use you for singular or plural you. And you can use we for inclusive and exclusive, but in Ojibwe, we're very specific about that. So these are the different levels. You can play this game at 24 different levels. And it can start out simple, just learning nin, gin, and win. And then you can build on that. You can learn your negatives. You can learn how to make statements, not just saying me, you, or them, but you can say, I am not farting, you are not farting, they are not farting. So, and you can say past tense and plural tense. You can start into doing plurals. So just us, we are farting, or yous are not farting. So you can say those. And in total, I think if you learn to play this game and play it at 24 levels, just with simple statements and yes and no questions, you can learn how to make over 100 sentences in Ojibwe. So, and then when you get to the end, I think this is like 40 pages. It ended up being, you can see that a lot of the words that you're using are, you have a lot of vocabulary by the end of this. And what we mentioned at the end is that you don't always have to talk about farting, even though you know 100 different ways, sentences to make about farting now. You can actually learn a handful of verbs like sitting, standing, dancing, and you can use the same rules that you learned through the game to make sentences about singing, about eating, about hiding, about speaking, and you can expand your vocabulary exponentially. So that's our instructions. And then for every level, we have vocabulary sheets as well. So you can print those out. We're still learning, so if there's any corrections or suggestions that you find, let us know, and we'll always update and make available our most updated version of our vocabulary sheets. So for every level, you can see the vocabulary that people are learning. So yeah, once you get to level kind of 21, you can say just us, we farted, we all farted, you guys farted, you plural farted. And then there is a way you can play 4-player games, and that's when you learn about the plural third person, winawa. And what I've found is that there's a lot of materials for third person, talking about somebody else or talking about multiple somebody else's. So we just focused on the inclusive, exclusive we, and plural you. We actually have the game available both in Ojibwe and in Cree. So we also have, you'll see there's the Puegeto game instruction guide, and we have decks for the Puegeto game. Soon the Puegeto book will be out. We're thinking this summer as well. So I guess, do you want to see how it's played, Trissa? We have some examples. I can play a video about playing the game. I haven't been able to, let's see, go out and do demonstrations in the community. I've been staying at home. So I actually had to do this Boogidi game. I set it up in my living room with my husband and son. So I'm actually nervous about being recorded, so you'll be able to tell that. But this is both my husband and my son and I playing the Boogidi game in the living room. Just you let me know if the sound's on.
I'm the one, it's my turn. Ninitam.
Can you hear it?
Yeah,
Okay, and does it sound good, the level?
sounds
The
great.
volume? All right.
It's my turn. I'm Neen. Neen is me. And the person that I'm speaking to is Geen. So I'm speaking to Geen. And we speak about ween. Okay, I'm speaking about ween. So when I use Neen, I'm saying me. When I'm use Geen, I'm saying you. And when I'm saying ween, I'm saying him, her, or they, them, singular.
I'm really fast at shuffling.
You can go, you flip there.
Okay.
Okay. Neen, Neen should go ween. Geen should go ween.
I did something funny today.
Did you? Neen, Neen etta.
I just ignored my son.
Gawin awiya. Geen. Kakinawiya. Gawin awiya. Kakinawiya. Ween.
I did say something funny.
Neen should go ween.
Poop-I.
Neen. Ween. Ween. Kakanawiya. Neen. Nin, shigo, gin. Woo, good job, guys.
What about that?
Okay.
I'll say it now. Can I say
Nin
it?
Boogid.
Nin
Do you want to
Boogid.
be? Do you want to be Nin?
I was gonna be Nin, but I'm gonna be right here. Nin.
Ni Boogid, shigo, Boogide.
She'll say it.
Nin Boogid, shigo, Boogide. Gi Boogid, shigo, Boogide. Boogide. Gawin, gi Boogide si. Gawin awia.
We have Gawinawiya and Gakinawiya. I want to say it all together.
Okay.
Kakanawiya.
Boogide.
I just ate something funny. Yeah, I ate
Ooh.
something funny.
Ni Boogide min. Ni Boogid. Gawin awia. Gi Boogid. Gakinawiya. Ni Boogide min. And then one more under there. Ni Boogid. So we're gonna take away these.
Okay.
And this means I'm talking to you and you're talking to me.
Okay.
I'm the one, it's my turn. Ninitam, it's my turn. I'm Nin. Nin is me. And the person that I'm speaking to is Gin. So I'm speaking to Gin. And we speak about Ween. Okay, I'm speaking about Ween. So when I use Nin, I'm saying me. When I'm use Gin, I'm saying you. And when I'm saying Ween, I'm saying him, her, or they, them, singular.
That's my fast flipping again.
Speedy.
Yeah, I think that's it.
You can go, you flip there.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if we're out of loop. I think I might have just seen it again. But yeah, that's a little video just showing exactly how you can start out playing. You can, and we actually have some people playing, I think in person too. But I'll just stick with that one for now and go to the keynote presentation. I gotta find where I'm thinking that, well, I might not have saved it here. This is the one. Okay. So let's see. This is just a keynote presentation that we did. I'm gonna see if I can change my view on my, so we can see our participants. I don't think we can. So maybe I'll stop that. So that was a little game we played, Neen, Geen, Ween. And I think maybe we can show some of how we play in an Inimwen online. So first we had Neen, Geen, Ween flipping, and that's like all of the odd numbered levels of the Boogidi game. You're standing, sitting down, and you're flipping cards, and as you look at the card, you see who is farting, and Neen tells Geen who is farting. So that's all of the even numbered games. But the odd numbered games, those are a comprehension check. And in person, we play that by putting these, it's like heads up. And so that's how we kind of play. And it's until you play it, I think it shows you how much is involved in asking a question and answering a question. So when I'm learning Ojibwe and somebody asks me a question, like a speaker will ask me a question like, what is my name or how am I doing? That is, I actually just freeze. I don't know if I'm the only learner who's like that, but if they're asking somebody else, I can watch somebody being asked a question and I can understand that question and I can add, but if they talk to me specifically, I freeze. And in my mind, I'm saying, okay, they said something. They said something to me. They said it in Ojibwe. Do I know what they said? What verb did they use? Do I know that verb? Oh yes, I know that verb. But what were they saying? Who were they including? And I was like trying to think of the beginnings and the endings. And I'm like, did I hear it? Oh yeah, I heard it. Do I know it? Yeah. And then I'm thinking about these charts in my head about that have first person, second person, third person, you know, first person, plural, exclusively, and then all down the row, and I'm trying to look, and then I'm like understanding it, and then I have to switch over and I say, okay, now I know what they said to me. Can I answer? Do I know the answer? And I'm like, is it the same verb? Yeah, I know the verb, but you have to use a different system of conjugations in order to provide the answer. So then I'm looking at another chart and answering, and I'm like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to answer. And then by then, usually the speaker's gone on to the next person. Because in my head, although this is really active, I've been just sitting there like this for 5 minutes. So when kids are learning, they'll get really, like my son, he gets really good at flipping and just sitting there in the position of Neen and just narrating what's happening. But when we do the comprehension check, he doesn't get to see what's on his forehead. He has to listen to what's being said. So when he's playing Geen, he has to listen to what's being said about it. So I think for this one, I don't know, Shrissa, do you want to present? We can do a demonstration and you can pick people to be Neen, Geen, and Ween to show people not only how we play the comprehension check, but also how we have adapted it to doing it online.
Sure. I guess I will choose myself to be Nina. And I think Noah would make a good Gina. I'll just rename you all as I go.
Yeah, I think that's been really useful, as knowing the Zoom platform and being able to use even things like your name to be able to play games. So now renaming, what Shrissa is doing now is, because she's one of the co-hosts, or she's a host, she has control over people's titles. So she can make your name anything that she wants to make it right now. Oh, and I'm Weena. So I'm not talking anymore. I'm just being talked about. Nobody's talking to me and I'm not talking. There's just somebody talking about me.
Right. So if you want to just walk us through the game and I'll give the translations. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Okay, so for the setup, we'll get anybody who's not Nina, Gina, or Weena to turn off their cameras. The other thing that has to happen is, because when you're playing face-to-face, you can't see the card on your forehead. And the same thing we can do in Zoom. All we have to do is, and we have to make sure that everybody's doing it. You kind of have to have a trust level with your players. But in Zoom, if you go up to the corner where there's 3 little dots, you can scroll down and you can hide self-view. So now on my screen, I only see Sharissa, who I know is Nina, and Noah, who I know is Gina, from their name on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, I've hid myself view too, so I can only see Nina and Weena.
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't see myself either. So.
All right, so do you want to play just Nina, Gina, and Weena?
Sure. Yeah.
So that's the first level. You need to know 3 other words. You need to know how to say and,
Mm-hmm.
which is.
Which is egwa.
You need to know how to say nobody.
Nobody, which is matsawiak.
And we need to be able to say everybody.
Which is kakinawawiak.
Good. Okay, so let's play.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Okay, so nipwegetuna.
Mats.
Mats? Okay, so Gina, Egwa, Weena.
Oh yeah, we have to make sounds.
Yeah.
So that's how we demonstrate that we understand. So even though I'm only being talked about, I'm still being a very good eavesdropper. So I know when I'm supposed to be farting and I make a sound. Or if I'm not farting, I could go, ew.
Okay, next one. Nipwegetuna.
Mats.
Mats. Okay, so Noah, you're looking a little shy. I don't think you have one. So matsawiak.
Matsawiak.
Matsawiak. Oh, say.
Last one.
Okay.
Okay, nipwegetuna.
Mats.
Okay, Kina Pogo. Sai.
Say. So thank you so much. I'm going to put my self view on now. Show self view if you look in the corner, even though I don't really like that. And Danielle and Weston can join us if they'd like, but that's how we've adapted it online. And what I found is, I don't know, even if the one person speaking, all the people who are listening have to comprehend without a visual. And you get to self-check. So if you got that, if you said something wrong or you made the wrong response, you kind of look and you know that, but not everybody knows that. So especially for kids, they can self-correct without having the teacher correct them. Or the parent correct them, which is really important, I think, for language learning, is just having that confidence to be able to learn, to be able to make a mistake, to be able to correct that, and then to be able to continue playing. So this way, people self-correct. Okay. And
Oh, you're muted.
I'm muted. I'm Weena too. I want to be Dawnis again. But we also have a video of the students who are just learning to play at the center. So everybody was wearing masks and in a place where there's a high ventilation. So I want to show that video as well, instead of just the video with my son and my husband and myself. But we are going to be loading these clips up onto our, I think, YouTube. I think we're going to have a YouTube next month is the plan, is that MICEC is also going to be publishing things onto our YouTube, not only to assist with the Boogidi Game, but also a lot of the work that we've been doing with classes online. We've been recording them, editing them, transcribing them, and translating them. And we would love to share that with our community, especially being so far away these days, or feeling so far away. I'm going to share screen and then go in to the students who sent me a video. Oh, and this is multiple perspectives. So the game, I encourage when children start off and young people that there is only one nin, and you're just listening watching and Nin is the only one speaking. But when you are comfortable in that and that's already known to you, you can move on to play the game in multiple perspectives. Can you guys see it and hear it?
Yeah, looks good. Gakinawiak.
Gakinawiak.
Gakinawiak. Nina.
Weena.
Gina. Gakinawiak.
Gakinawiak.
Gakinawiak. Gina. Egwa. Weena.
Nina. Egwa. Gina.
Nina. Egwa. Weena.
And I don't know if it's clear to our viewers, but we have the setup here is there's 3 players. And instead of having a dedicated person who is Nin and Gin and Ween, we have speech arrows. And so it shows that Charissa to our right is speaking to Noah. Noah is speaking to Danielle and Danielle is speaking to Charissa. So every time they have a round, each one of them takes a turn reading the draw of the cards from their own perspective. And this happens naturally in conversation when you're fluent in a language. You flip from your perspective to another person's perspective. Like you see me, I see you, we see each other. And that's something that you can understand, that when a speaker is speaking to you, using the phrase you, that means me from your own perspective. But when you're acquiring a language, that can be a little bit confusing at the beginning. So
Nina. Egwa. Gina.
Nina. Egwa. Weena.
Gina. Egwa. Weena. Nina.
Gina. Oh, sorry. I meant to say Weena.
Gina. Nina. Egwa. Weena.
Weena. Egwa. Gina.
Nina. Egwa. Gina. Matsawiak.
Matsawiak.
Matsawiak. Nina. Egwa. Weena.
Gina. Egwa. Weena.
Nina. Egwa. Gina. Gina. Egwa. Weena.
Nina. Egwa. Gina.
Nina. Egwa. Weena. Gina. Egwa. Weena.
Nina. Egwa. Gina.
Nina. Egwa. Weena. Matsawiak.
Matsawiak.
Matsawiak. Nina.
Weena.
Gina. Nina. Egwa. Gina.
Nina. Egwa. Weena.
Gina. Egwa. Weena. Gina.
Nina.
Weena. Matsawiak.
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 okay. So I think that was great. I don't know. I was really happy to see you guys learning and demonstrating in the center. And we have different videos that can demonstrate different ways to play the game, because we have different levels. We have 24 levels just to be able to make simple sentences. What we're working on over the summer is to learn how to do that in B form. So what we're working on now is simple sentences and yes and no statements. We can also use the same setup and the same cards to be able to ask complex questions or conditional statements. So if I fart loudly. If you fart sneakily. So that's kind of what's on the table for the summer. And we're going to have different videos and possibly different instruction guides to go along with that. So if anybody's played out their Boogidi game and already able to make those 100 sentences with ease, then we'll have a new set for you to work on in the fall. So miigwech, that's my presentation.
I say Dawnis. That's awesome. I love that. I love that this resource is available for people out there. I know, like, helping you work on it, like just assisting you a little bit, I was able to increase my knowledge of Inanimoan and Anishinaabekwe so much, and I was able to help pass that on to my daughter and give that back to my mom. And so I'm grateful that both you and Anna and the center were able to work on this and make it fun and engaging and digestible for kids as well. So we do have a few questions. So from Facebook, Danielle Mason says, how many people can play the card game at once?
Oh, that's a good question. We have a couple setups. So our ideal setup that we demonstrated is 3 people. That just helps for you to be able to think about first person, second person, third person, because the 8 persons in Ojibwe are kind of based on that tripod of nin, gin, win. So we isolated it to 3 people just for acquiring the language, but you can play with 2 people and then you just have a stand-in ween. So for me and Kenny, we play often in the morning when we're doing our school, and it's just him and I. So we would bring one of his stuffies, and the stuffy is there as ween. And we go back and forth. And when you're playing that way, like as a 2-person, 2 people who are actively playing and one sitting to the side, that's also a good way to do competitive play. So you can play competitively and change perspectives. So for me, if I was playing Sharissa and I was Nin and she was Gin, from her perspective, she would be Nina and I would be Gina, and whoever read the play of cards first and correctly would actually get to keep those cards as a trick. So you can play head to head with 2 players and make that. I think we made it into a tournament once. We took it to some youth who were playing at Seed, and so we were able to keep track of who was getting knocked out of the tournament and who was like the #1 at reading farts at the end of the day. You can also play the 3-player perspective that Trissa and Danielle and Noah were demonstrating, and you can move on to play 4-player. So there's a 4-player game at the end where you can introduce the vocabulary for Winawa or they plural, and then play as 4 players. We've played in big group settings, but we just have multiple decks. So we have small little groups and they're all kind of going at once.
Awesome. We have another question. Will there be any add-ons to the game or book in the future?
Yes, depending on how fast we can work. I'm always trying to recruit, but we definitely do want to do the B form, and that's basically because I want to learn it. I'm learning through this game. I'm learning through this book, and it's helping me to acquire and cut down my response time and to acquire language and my speaking skills. So we want to do B form this summer. We also have a second deck that we haven't developed the instructions for yet, or the vocabulary guides to go ahead, but it has transitives. So there we have noses. So there's a deck that you can add as an expansion pack that you can shuffle into the deck of farts. And some of them have noses and some of them have noses and farts. So when you play and you flip, you can say, I smell you, you smell me, we all smell me. I smell myself. And you can work on those. The transitives, I have to be honest, kind of scare me, but I'm looking forward to using the decks so that I can learn just how to say sentences that involve more than one person doing things and having them be done to them.
Yeah. awesome. We also have, where can we get the book and game?
Oh, at MICEC, we have an online, we're not open right now because of due to COVID, but we are still working, and you can order the game at www.micec.com, as well as the Boogidi book, and pretty soon the Puegeto book as well.
Okay, we have two final questions, I think. One, which is, how do you make it a command?
Oh, I don't know whose question is that. I think that's Noah's question. It's like, I don't even know. I don't even think I've ever heard anybody using that. But I would guess it would be like Boogidin to one person, and Boogidi.
In Korea, it would just be Boogito. It would be the same.
It'd be the same.
Boogito, yeah.
But how would you know? Just like the emphasis?
Guess so.
Oh, I guess we could say Boogide da, which would be let's all fart.
I'll have to call.
Maybe that would have been a better name for the game. That could be the start of play. Boogide da, let's all fart.
Yeah, I'll call Nokum and I'll get back to you on that one.
All right.
Okay, and the last question is, can you teach us how to say we are all farting together?
Ooh. I guess gibugitamin, just like in the book, it says we all fart. So gibugitamin. In the book we say gibugitamin ingoting, we all fart sometimes, but that would be in bugitamin. So I guess that's getting onto the plural levels. For the plural levels, the way that I think about it is that helped me is nin means me, gin means you, ween means somebody you're talking about. So when you do the plurals, I think about the endings as also telling me something about what's being said. So Nina wind, anything that ends with ind, I think of as including me. So Nina wind is me and me. There's two me's. There's more than one me, which means there's us, just us. Like us are farting. Gawin, gin, not you. It's just us, don't worry. And then gina wind includes you, and because it ends with ind is me. So gina wind, you and me. So us, we all, right? And then gina wa, I think of wa, anything that ends in wa is like, oh, wa, it's like a lot, like more than one. That's in my mind. That's my little cheat sheet from studying. This is not what Ojibwe means. This is just in my mind. It's a reminder. Ginawa. So that's you and you, but not me. Ginawa. Use are farting. And then winawa would be more than one them. They are farting. And we're at time. Miigwech.